Okay, it is 2:05 now, Pacific Standard Time. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward with the rest of our program. We wanna be mindful of everyone's time. So like Pedro mentioned, we are now entering session 2, which will take place from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And then at 3:30, we will move on to, like Pedro mentioned also, the peer-led talking circles. And so up next, we have our UCLA Keynote address, which will be delivered by the amazing Dr. Emily Ives. And I have the honor and pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Emily Ives. And if you've been here since session 1, then you're perhaps already familiar with Emily. But I'm gonna go ahead and provide just a quick background bio of Dr. Ives, and then we'll have her take over. So Dr. Emily Ives is a program director for the Military and Veteran Affairs at the University of California, Los Angeles, an institution that she has worked for the last 10 years. In her current role, Emily oversees campus and community veteran services at UCLA. During her career at UCLA, she also worked in a variety of student affairs disciplines, including facility management, staff training and development, risk management, and support for underrepresented student populations, including homeless youth, foster youth, students with children, dependents, undocumented students, neurodiverse students, and transfer students. Prior to UCLA, Dr. Ives held positions at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln and federally funded nonprofit research and a development center. She earned her Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies at the aforementioned university, and her Master's of Education and Doctor of Education from UCLA. Her dissertation is titled Understanding the College Choice Process of United States Military-Affiliated Transfer Students. So with that, help me welcome back Dr. Emily Ives, and we're so excited, again, not only to have her part of the committee, but to also share some words of wisdom with us here today. Dr. Ives, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks so much, Pedro. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me today. This has been such a fantastic conference and presentation, and I'm just so excited to be here to share a little bit about transfer, before transfer, what we're doing at UCLA and UC, and answer questions that anybody might have. So I just wanted to kind of start by providing a little bit of context. By 2020, there's been more than 5 million post 9/11 servicemen and women who've left the military. And these transitioning veterans left the military and are beginning their lives as civilians. And so Carol and I have the pleasure of being able to work along with many, many colleagues across the US, have the pleasure to be able to serve these folks and be able to provide them support as they transition. And so, our federal government, in an effort to honor their service, to reduce the unemployment rate of veterans, of post-service veterans, and support their transition, provides qualified veterans with financial support to pursue post-secondary education. And not only are we so lucky to and great to have that for our service members, but also our colleges and university also have additional resources to support our service members financially with resources as well. And so, through my experience, as many veterans consider pursuing education and preparing themselves to join the civilian workforce, many find themselves at community colleges because of the ease of access and the nominal tuition fees should veterans decide to not use their benefits and save them for a four-year university or maybe even graduate professional school. And really in response to that desire to transition to the civilian workforce and understanding how gaining financial security and earning a baccalaureate degree are really closely related. Our Veteran Resource Center at UCLA and CCCP have collaborated to create programs such as this and hopefully many more to support our students in their transition and to create stronger pathways from the community college to the UC and specifically UCLA. You know, at UCLA, we have a variety of different services. This webinar is one of them, talking about the collaborative efforts between departments on our campus and CCCP. But also CCCP has a fantastic scholars program, and I know that was mentioned at the beginning in the morning session, but I definitely highly encourage you to look at it and to, you know, consider joining. It's a fantastic value add, and really can help prepare you for that transition. At UCLA, we also have a veterans admissions liaison team who work specifically with students as they're in community college and even in the military to help prepare them for the transition to be academically prepared to join us at UCLA. We recognize that many of our students may have attended multiple colleges, may have had joint service transcript credits, things like that need to be evaluated, and it can be complicated. And so, you know, because of that and because of our university's commitment to this community, we actually have special staff on our admissions team to be able to help evaluate credit, advise on what else needs to be considered and whatnot. And we're working really hard with the community colleges and hopefully building this to also, you know, provide education to the counselors and faculty and staff there about what those requirements are, so that you know, we can act as a multiplier to providing that information. Also, at UCLA, we have admissions representatives at every single community, assigned to every single community college. Obviously, with COVID, things have had to be virtual, but prior to COVID, there was, you know, insight visits where you can meet with a UCLA admissions counselor to answer your questions, to review your personal insight statements, to help get guidance should you want somebody from the university to be the person to kind of review that for you. Also, you know, at UCLA in our Veteran Resource Center, we collaborate a lot with admissions and with CCCP, as you can see here. We provide in the past, and COVID has been although extremely you know, limiting in terms of how we've been able to do outreach, has provided us the opportunity to be able to really think about how we connect virtually. In providing, we've been able to provide admissions info sessions open to all California Community College veterans. We've been able to offer like application workshops where we talk about applying to UC, what that application looks like, what it consists of, and also personal insight question workshops. So those are things that we're committed to continue to do for our community college students, because we think it is so very important to make sure that we help deliver the message and provide a space to be able to allow students to ask those questions and get them answered. And actually this year in the month of November, we are working to train our current students who have successfully transferred from a community college to UCLA to help host office hours so that community college student veterans can get answers to their questions live. You know, we did offer that through our information sessions that we've previously done, but knowing that there may be some questions that come up after that, we want to make sure that we're available to help answer those so that, you know, that's not a barrier to you applying to the campus. And so we will be hosting those in the month of November for prospective students. Just in general, the veteran identity is kind of part of the holistic review that UCLA undergraduate admissions performs in the admissions application review. And I always encourage student veterans to share their military experience, their leadership, their unique experiences, and how that shaped their goals in pursuing a bachelor's degree. Military service is something that's very, is not an experience that you can get unless you serve. It's something that makes you unique, makes you stand out, and makes you a great candidate for UC, and especially UCLA. And so we want to make sure that the student veterans at community colleges know that, that their experiences, you know, bring bring to the diversity of discussion on the college campus, and it's very important to have that voice heard. And so we do want you, and we want you to consider to apply to the UC and specifically UCLA. This year there's been some changes. There's been some legislation that's passed, and there's going to be a supplemental application for military connected students. This is, I think, a fantastic. This is a fantastic new change. The reason for this change is because there's legislation that's changed that actually allows us to give students an actual financial aid award, so students can cost compare between campuses. And I strongly believe that the UC provides a very high quality education at a nominal cost, and that through these cost compare, students will be able to see how affordable it is to go to a UC school, and how cost effective of an option it is. So there'll be a supplemental application, and not only is it going to ask about questions related to military service, about how that individual identifies, whether you're a veteran, whether you're active duty, you're a spouse, you're an adult child, but it'll also ask you about the benefits that you might be eligible, that you might be using at the university, or if you need help answering that question. I think that we're committed, as institutions. Not only do we serve you as you are a student here, but as you are transitioning here. And that's very important and valuable to us. So I'm going to now transition to talk a little bit about transfer. So what happens once a student decides to transfer to, a UC or a four-year institution. And we know that there can be a lot of, hurdles or questions about what the social experience is on campus, what financial resources there are, what healthcare resources there are. And we want to recognize also that making that transition can be difficult. Some of our students are transitioning straight out of military to the UC. Some are transferring and making the transition from a community college to a UC. And transition is not easy. But I think that many of our veterans have much more life experience with them, extensive traveling and interactions with people from, diverse cultural, religious, ethnic backgrounds. And, it can be a challenge, but I think veterans are also can tap into some of those skill sets that they developed in the military and going through the transition and apply that to the transition to the campus, or at least to the UC. So kind of at that process, we, in addition to helping kind of with the application process, we also help with the transition. Once students are admitted, we host a calling and email campaign to connect all of our military connected students. And our hope is that we are the first folks to reach out to them, to answer questions, to get information you need to make an informed decision. And this isn't just veterans. This is all folks who self-identify as military connected on their admissions application. I can't stress enough how important it is to self-identify that information, because that's how we know who you are. That is the only way that we know if you are military connected, is if you click that box on the admissions application, and if this year you fill out the supplemental application. So we host actually a specific presentation during our Transfer Bruin Day, which usually occurs in the month of May, for admitted students to share this information about resources, support that we provide to our military connected students. And this is the presentation where you can also find out additional information about financial benefits should you need more clarification than what we provide as you're an admitted student. This also is a great opportunity to visit campus if you're able to, for us to showcase the different services and support we provide, not only specific to the military connected community, but just to campuses in general. During COVID, we provided this online, in a virtual environment, but prior to COVID and hopefully this coming year, we'll be able to provide this in person. So you can physically see the campus. You can experience the different opportunities and resources and services and meet the people. Early in June or July, we also host information sessions because we know that students are going to be beginning their orientation sessions, which is where you would sign up for classes. And at this time, we introduce key staff members from our resource team. For example, folks from the Disability Services Office, or we call it our Center for Accessible Education, where you can learn more about the department if you want to get registered with that department, what the process is. This is also another reminder about benefits and how you need to, with the information we need to process your benefits. And I think it's also the opportunity where we and our students share advice on how you should prepare for your summer. What are things that you should be doing? We suggest things like figuring out your apartment situation, or if you're going to live in university housing, taking summer classes, or maybe enrolling in the transfer summer program, planning your career development or internship goals, trying to figure that out, spending time with family and friends, and kind of relaxing before the school year starts. So then in August, we have a UCLA alumni veteran affinity group, and they host a send-off where they send our students off to Westwood. And at that point, that's an opportunity for our new and continuing students to connect, to meet each other in person, and also to meet our alums. We have so many fantastic alums in the area who are always willing to give back, to connect with current students, to provide that kind of advice. They've been in student shoes and know that experience. And so we think it's super helpful to have that opportunity to connect before school starts. This year, we're super thankful that we'll be able to host it at the American Legion, thanks to their generous support. But it's something that I think that is unique to this community and unique to how we provide support. Then in September, as the school year starts, UCLA, we start a little bit late, generally because we're on a quarter system. But we bring the students together at the office and provide an open house to encourage students to stop in, to get questions answered, and to see the space. I think that's a big thing, is when you're thinking about your four-year institution, see the space. Where's the vet center? Ask questions. What services do you provide? Who's here to support me? What kind of programs, what kind of resources do you have? There's a variety of different levels of services and support at different four-year institutions, just as there is with community colleges. And I think it's trying to find, most important thing is trying to find your place and your space and where you feel at home. And if that's at UCLA, fantastic. And if that's at a different school, that's great too. The most important thing is that you make a choice for yourself where you feel you have the support and the connection to succeed, and the resources available. So throughout the year, we provide a variety of different academic success and career development, wellness, community building programs and services to our students. We have office hours with a variety of different campus and community services. Some of the ones that I think are, there's so many great ones, but we do offer benefit and claims support. We have career development services through the Wounded Warrior Project that come to our campus. And like PCC and some other schools in the LA area, we also have a Veteran Success on Campus counselor who's a VA employee that works at our university 3 days a week to help support student success through the university and beyond. And without going into too much detail about those services, for academic success, I think it's important to figure out what workshops does the university provide to student veterans and just for military connected students or just students in general. What tutoring or academic support services are available. And we're really fortunate to be able to provide that at UCLA, but it's something to think about and consider when you think about transfer. Career development, that's something that we always stress from the beginning, and I think is also important for student veterans to think about, is what, civilian jobs and job references do you have? How do they connect to your career, post-service career goals? And what can the university and the resources at the Veteran Resource Center do to support you with that? All the time I'm connecting students to different employment opportunities. We have networking nights that we do, opportunities to meet different employers, review resumes and cover letters, get to know the vet staff and see kind of where their skills and expertise lie, and what are they able to do to support you. In terms of wellness, we have a counselor in our student health center that on the counseling and psychological services department that specifically supports veterans, and that's not to say that any of the other staff are not capable. They absolutely are. But to have a point person, especially in a counseling office, is extremely important. And so we're very thankful that the counseling department is committed to supporting the military connected students. We also have we're less than 2 miles away from our West LA VA, which is fantastic. It's a great resource to our students, and only a few miles further to the Culver City Vet Center. So we're very thankful for the great partnership and support that we have there. We also have a fantastic gym on campus, well, several gyms on campus. And so in years past, our student veterans have had an informal gym group that meets in the morning before classes start and does gym and then goes to breakfast together. And, it's those informal connections sometimes that are almost as important as those formal connections. And then you can't forget community building. And I think that that's so important. And different universities and offices will do different things. We found super successful in the past that folks want to celebrate different holidays or important days in their lives. And that it can be very community building. Also things like a Taco Tuesday, or we did a Wing Wednesday. Those have been also very popular events. We've gone to Dodgers games and UCLA games, all different sporting events. So those have been fun, and providing service to others, community service. Our student veterans have been fantastic, and such servant leaders and providing service to other veterans. And specifically at the West LA VA and the domicile there, they've been fantastic in providing support and mentorship. We've gone over almost every month to do things like pizza parties, collaborative events, community service events, and outreach. And so, those are all things that make UCLA in particular, veteran services, and really it's our student veterans. It makes them so unique and so fantastic. And I think, I don't want to take too much time because I know we have a student panelist here and I want to be able to answer some questions should folks have them. But, I think when you think about your transfer process and you think about looking at, what should I look for? I think it's look at their veteran services, look at the campus and see, is this a place that I think, I would like to be? Is this a place that's good and supportive of my family and my other parts of my identity? The veteran aspect is one part of your identity, but there's much more that makes up you. And so I think it's just important to be able to, allow these different services and support the opportunity to provide connections for you and for you to reach out to them and help, let us know what you need. So with that, Berto, I think I'm gonna pause and see if there's any questions that folks have or anything I can answer. And we do have the student panel after, so I think also hearing from the veteran peer experience is very, very valuable as well. So.
Santi?
Any questions?
Yeah, I just want to ask you what drives you to do this work? Because you're obviously very committed and dedicated, and so.
Yeah, so it's the military connected students themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I did not serve in the military, nor did my parents, but I had the opportunity almost a decade ago to work with some student veterans, and those experiences really made me feel like this is the community that I'm called to work with. It felt like a family. It felt like a community that didn't have that could have a loud voice on campus, but was humble and prideful, and was not always wanting to be the loudest person in the room and scream and yell to get the attention, but very much deserved it. And I wanted to be part of that, and I felt like I could contribute. And that's, and the continued family feel and support, mutual support that's provided, I think is what's kept me working with student vets, is that it just absolutely, every day I wake up and I cannot think of my life any different. And 10 years ago, I don't know that I knew that, but it's really the people that are the ones, our veterans and military connected folks are the ones that make me want to continue, and excited every day to do this.
Yeah, I can tell, 'cause the big old smile that you had when you were saying that is very obvious. Yeah, no, that's very obvious, that brings you joy. And it resonates with me because I'm not a transfer student myself either. And, I'm doing this, and it's the same thing. Yes. Thank you for that. I think, it's we always think about, of course, the programs, institutions, but, it's usually the people behind all of that that make that connection possible. So I always tell students, especially those who ask me like, oh, UCLA is so big, so many students. And so you don't have to worry about, getting to meet all 40,000 plus students. All you have to do is meet the right folks, meet your tribe, meet your community. So I'm hoping that all of you who are listening here, you need to connect with Emily and connect with the folks at the VRC, because this is going to be the family that's waiting for you here to walk through the process and to celebrate you. So thank you.
Well, I'm looking at the time. I'm only about 3 minutes shy from my 2 minutes shy from my allotted time, and I see 3 folks here that are going to be on the panel, and I definitely think there is going to be a lot of great discussion happening. These folks are just fantastic. Oh, yep, here we go. Fantastic folks who can provide great perspective, experience, advice. They all have fantastic stories, and so I want to turn it over to them because I think they're the all-stars here, and I want to make sure we have plenty of time to let them share their experience.
Thank you so much, Emily. That was fantastic, and just the amount of services that are provided, that's just like, wow. That's pretty awesome. Let's see, is Lonel here? I'm not sure if he's here.
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. I'm gonna turn it over to you, Lonel.
All right. Hello, everyone. Today I'll be the host for the second part of the presentation. And I have a few questions that I'll like to ask the panelists. But before, I'll give a background of myself for the newcomers for the second part. I was a veteran myself. I served 4 years in the Marine Corps after high school. Then once I got out, I attended Mount SAC and I received my associate's degree in kinesiology, where I transferred to UCLA, majoring in sociology and working as a peer advisor for CCCP. And one of the conversations I had with Santi was like, where is the like group for veteran students? Because we hit a lot of the other populations that we like to help and recruit for. So I want to say thank you for the CCCP staff for believing in me and continuing to work towards this, and just seeing that this happened. I'm honored to be a part of it and to see it happen. But I just recently finished my master's at Cal. So right now, I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful to be in this space. And I'm ready to hear, everyone's perspective and their background as far as, transition into civilian world and entering higher education. So, thank you again for everyone that's here. My name's Lionel Edwards. And for the panelists, the first question, so right now I have Trent, I have Aubrey, and I have Abraham. And the first question that I'd like to ask is, may you introduce yourself, your name, where you transferred from, or the previous institution you attended, your major, and your career goals. And I'll, leave it up to, you all to kind of figure out who wants to go first. First come, first serve.
Yeah, I'm not that shy. So my name's Trent. I was in the Navy for 6 years. I got out in San Diego, where I started going to community college at San Diego City Community College, where I graduated with an associate's in political science. Applied to a bunch of schools, got into UCLA. Recently just graduated a couple months ago, as with my other two co-panelists. That's exciting stuff that we're doing. Well, AAP is still working on some nursing stuff. Anyway, so I got into law school recently. So I'm going up to the University of Washington up in Seattle. So that, I guess that's my career goals, is going to law school. So if anyone wants to maybe go that route, I definitely have answers, because it was a process, going from undergrad into law school. So yeah. Thanks.
I can go next. Okay. Hello. My name is Aubrey. I served in the Marine Corps, what feels like a million years ago. And then I went to community college. I went to Moore Park, and I was there for like 5 years. Ended up getting 6 associate degrees, because I kind of just tried a little bit of everything. And then when it came time, I was like, I need to move on. I applied to 13 schools, and I was surprised. I ended up being accepted into, I think, like 10 of them, one of them being UCLA. And I was actually trying to decide between Berkeley Haas and UCLA, but I fell in love with UCLA. So I ended up coming here, which has been phenomenal. Just being a part of the veteran community here and all of that. I have a complicated past with my military status. And then I graduated, yay, with sociology and a minor in labor studies. And then I am going to USC in the fall for Master's of Social Work. So that's starting in like a week and a half. So I'm really excited.
Last and certainly not least, my name is Abraham. I am a transfer student from Pierce College in Woodland Hills. I served in the Army for 6.5 years. I was a combat medic. And so the natural transition after the military was to, become a medical assistant or go nursing. I didn't want to be like, originally I didn't want to go into nursing because my whole mom's side is nurses. My mom's a nurse, grandmother, aunts, everybody's a nurse. And I tried to do something else. And going into the military, I, fell in love with tailgate medicine and being doc and all that. And so getting out of the military, I went to Pierce College. I did 3 years of prerequisites with the only goal of getting into UCLA's nursing program. When I told my counselor the plan, the counselor, looked at me and was like, okay, let's be realistic. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And so I made sure that I got into UCLA after that. But I did apply for all the Cal State. So like Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Dominguez Hills, Cal State Channel Islands for all their nursing programs, Cal State LA. And then when I found out because of financial aid that I qualified to apply for up to 4 UCs, I ended up applying to UC Irvine, UC San Diego, UC Davis, and UCLA. I definitely I didn't prepare the way I should have for the applications to the others. I did get accepted into UCLA and graduated from their program, but I did get accepted into UC Irvine as well. I'm the one that, goes in head first without researching anything. So I found out that my program is actually 3 years long at UCLA. So I did 3 years at community college and 3 years at the university for a total of 6 years to be where I am now, which is just waiting for the state of California to approve all my work and qualify to take the exam for my license. So
Thank y'all for that. That was beautiful, man. We have some amazing people in the building. I'm proud of y'all. Y'all doing big things right now. Big things, man, to all y'all. My second question is, how was your transition from community college to your transfer institution? What and who assisted you in that transition? And what are some challenges you faced? And then how did you overcome those challenges? I know that's like I said, the second question that ended up being like 5 additional questions, but if they're, if you need me to refer back to them, I can.
I can go first. So my transition from my community college to UCLA was difficult. I will say it was difficult. Moore Park was a semester system, and I had been there so long, I kind of knew how everything goes. And then you go to UCLA, which is a bigger school, new system, new, a quicker way of learning, essentially. Well, learning, yes. And I struggled my first quarter, definitely. But during this time, I was also learning to become more comfortable with the veteran community and being a member of it. And I started going to the Veteran Resource Center on campus and getting more involved. And through the resources that were available at the Veteran Resource Center, I was able to switch my major, find something that fit me better, and take my, I'm not gonna lie, I got 2 C's. I went from straight A student, I got 2 C's my first quarter here. And then the rest of my time after that, I was getting A's and B's. So the Veteran Resource Center really gave me the opportunity to thrive and get comfortable in this brand new environment. So yeah.
I have a similar experience to my fellow panelist, Aubrey. When I first got to UCLA, it was like a lot of changes because you come from community college, you have 16-week semesters. That's a long time. You get a break in between, maybe a week off, and you come back and you still have more to do. At UCLA, it's 10 weeks straight. It's fast paced. There's no breaks. Before you know it, you're taking midterms, and then you go to sleep and wake up and you're doing finals. So that was a huge change you have to get used to. But once you get used to that, everything else will fall into place if you can find a community. And like she did, I also found a community at the Veterans Resource Center where Dr. Ives has been invaluable in so many different regards. It's unbelievable what she does. But finding a community and then getting used to the quick paced environment of UCLA was the most challenging thing, but it was all worth it, I think.
I can say for myself that definitely I looked forward to the transition, and I kind of had difficulty letting go of my community college. At the community college, you're the big fish in a really small pond. And, I did so much work over there with tutoring and establishing a veteran resource center and like setting up so many things that I had difficulty of actually letting go of my community college. When I came over to UCLA, I was excited and I was ready, and I went to everything, right? I went to the Enormous Activities Fair. I went to the Bruin Day. I did like all the info sessions and everything. And I tried to like jump in with both feet. And then that's when I got exposed to AAP, finding out about the summer transfer program. And at first I thought, oh, well, I'm going to keep working at my community college. I'm going to keep doing these tutoring things, and I'm not going to have time to go over, like, I can't start this program over the summer. I don't have the time. And the summer, came around really quickly, and I'm sitting around, twirling my thumbs because I was so used to having this momentum. So I reached out to AAP, and I joined the summer transfer program like a week before it was supposed to start or something. And I remember like going to like orientation and stuff like that, and parents dropping off their children would look at me and they're like, oh, so who are you dropping off? Oh, oh, you got a kid here? And I just remember feeling so out of place, and then that imposter syndrome kicks in where like, do I really belong here? And I remember like in the summer transfer program, we're having our like first luncheon. And I'm going by the agenda, and it says to meet, at the cafeteria at this time. And I walk into the cafeteria and I was like, hey, we're here for this event. And the staff members think that I'm one of the staff organizing this event, and they're like trying to figure out where my reservation is and this and that. I was like, no, I'm a participant like anybody else, and I'm just trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be and when I'm supposed to be there, kind of thing. And I remember like that, like feeling out of place, that fish out of water kind of thing. And then the importance of me finding my group, right? The Veteran Resource Center, the transfer center on campus, and the non-traditional student network, like that was a big one, to actually find my place at the university where I could finally let go of what I was holding on to at the community college and really transition over into the university and make the university my community.
Thank you for that. I definitely understand the difficulties transferring from semester to the quarter system. But recently, when I came up to Cal, I had to transfer it back to the semester system. And when I say that was extremely challenging, because I was on week 8 of the semester up here, and I'm like, okay, I got 8 more weeks. I got 8 more. How can I do this? Like I wasn't mentally prepared to handle another 8 more weeks of classes. And, so if you're going to the semester system, beware, going back to the semester system, beware of that mental fatigue that you may endure. And also Trent, I have a friend, he's actually a 3L in the University of Washington. If you want, I could try to, connect, you two together if that's something.
Yeah. Send me his in the chat, his email or something.
All right. So the next question is, I'll throw it in the chat as well. It is there anything you wish you did differently prior to transferring while you were at community college?
I think something that could have been beneficial for me is maybe, because I know that because we worked at the Veterans Resource Center before we graduated. So I think something that would have been beneficial for me going into the school is maybe reaching out to the office sooner, just to like get in contact, see who works at the office, like, start to create the community before you get there. Because once you have the community, like I mean, the VRC has had my back the entire time I was there. So if they would have had it from the beginning, who knows? I mean, anything could have came from it, and it probably would have been better, if I would have done it early. So I think just getting in contact with a community, doesn't have to be the VRC. It could be, there's like a video game club. There's all types of clubs on campus. So just finding a community ahead of time and maybe, finding a familiar face once you get to campus might just help you out.
No, I I definitely agree with Trent. With reaching out beforehand, like getting all the details for myself, it was definitely getting all the details before showing up, right? Like, because I went in with the objective to say that I'm going to UCLA no matter what kind of thing, but I didn't get all the details. I couldn't tell you what the quarter system entailed before coming in. I couldn't tell you how long my program is. I couldn't tell you who the dean of my school, like who do I contact for any problems that I would have with my paperwork, right? I had one sole focus, but I knew none of the details. So definitely like reaching out beforehand, making those connections, getting to know the who, what, where, when, why, before even showing up makes that transition a lot easier once you get on, once you get boots on ground kind of thing, it's definitely one, like, I have no regrets about it, in hindsight, because I'm here, but, going in with a little bit more knowledge and preparation would have definitely made a little difference, starting out.
Yeah, so that could definitely be said about my kind of path. So I came in as a business economics major because I liked business. I was like, ooh, that sounds perfect. But the economics part is the main thing at UCLA. So it's, first day we're doing calculus and things like that. And I was like, oh no, I don't like calculus. I tried being an engineering major, did not work out. That is why I chose business. So I had to reevaluate my path at UCLA and I was able to switch to sociology, which I love. So it worked out fantastic. But I guess I don't know. I'm so bullheaded though. I don't know if I would have really looked into it more, but I should have looked into it more. But also I wish I had looked into my veteran benefits, education benefits beforehand. I didn't think I qualified for anything with the type of discharge that I had and just the limited time in service that I had. So I missed out on years, like they have vocational rehabilitation, which is I think they changed the name, but if you have a disability percentage, you can go to college through their program, even if you don't have like an honorable discharge or, other factors, or if you have limited GI Bill, even, voc rehab will cover you. So I wish I had looked into that sooner and gotten more of my education covered instead of having to work full time while I was at community college and make my way that way. So I definitely would have looked more into the benefits that I qualified for. And also definitely the type of classes I would be taking and the material for my degree.
Oh yes, thanks for that. I definitely agree with that. And to your last point, Aubrey, with the not understanding your educational benefits, I wish that was something that they had offered us during our transition seminar before we're exiting the military, because I learned so much from talking to veterans that active duty members, they don't know because they haven't exited the military. So sometimes, unfortunately, I missed a lot of additional benefits because I wasn't aware until after the fact. So yeah, thanks for that. So the next question I have is, share your experience on the quarter system and how it was different from the 16 semester at your community college. I know some of y'all talked about it briefly, but if you have any more like tips to kind of alleviate some of that, the challenges that y'all faced, or some positive things that y'all got from both, or what worked within both.
So I brought that up already, and it's 16 weeks for a semester, right? So that's a long amount of time, and there's always a week in the middle that like you get a break and then you have to come back. And at a 10-week quarter system, it goes fast. Like I swear it's the fastest thing. And the good thing that I really like about it though is because it doesn't give you time to forget. So in a semester system, by week 12, 13, you're like, oh shoot, what did we learn week 2 is about to come up on the final, you don't have a chance to do that, and in about the same amount of time for one semester, you get you get brand new classes. It's 20 weeks for a full set of 2 classes, where it's 16 weeks for one set of 1 classes. So, you just got to be on the ball. You got to take good notes. You got to show up. If you miss days, like you're missing a lot of content because it is going fast. So you miss days, you're going to miss content. So make friends in your class, because if you do miss a day, you can be like, hey, I missed. Can I get your notes? Can you brush me up? We need to figure this out. So that's really what it comes down to for me.
Okay. So for me, the main difference, it's definitely more fast paced. So you have for my semester system, you meet twice a week for the 16 weeks. For the quarter system, you meet twice a week for the 10 weeks, but they cover the same amount of material. They just shove it into 10 weeks. So you have to do a lot of it on your own, really. You do have a discussion with the 10 weeks, but I didn't realize how much you have to do on your own. Same thing with creating connections with your professors. You have to go out of your way to create that connection. You can't just wait around after class like you would during a semester, because you have all those weeks. No, if you like this professor, you have to see them in office hours. You have to make conversation with them, and you have to put more effort into your goals in this. It doesn't just happen naturally. You have to go out of your way to achieve the things that you want in a school like this, which is maybe not entirely a positive, but if you're ambitious, there's so many opportunities here.
I would say for the transition, I took advantage of the TSP, the summer transfer program, which the way it was explained to me was it's a quarter system boot camp, because you go through 6 weeks of what you would generally go through in the 10 weeks. So going from a semester, right, 16 weeks, to jumping into a summer set of classes in 6 weeks that would cover everything that you do in the 10 weeks. Like after I got done with that summer session, it was a full load too. 10 weeks felt like nothing, because I'm a glutton for punishment. I loved, I'm the science person, so I took biochemistry I was in the biochemistry cohort. So you do, 153A, so full intro biochemistry in 6 weeks. Now, the benefit is you have PLFs, or peer learning facilitators. You have your professor is dedicated to you. So during this program, that professor was picked to teach this class. So you really do get that one-on-one kind of hand-holding that is beneficial during the transition, but you get that full experience of what a class is at UCLA. So I definitely took advantage of TSP. It established my GPA, and that way, that first fall quarter, I already had a GPA, and I could already start looking for other things that were available on campus for people that have their GPA established. So, looking for research positions or trying to jump into a lab or something, because our time is limited on campus. So just that little bit kind of gave that leg up, and it prepared me for that transition to the quarter system, because it goes fast. It does go fast.
Thank you for that amazing advice from all 3 of y'all. Definitely good resources, making those connections, because as a transfer student, our time is limited. The environment is a little different from community college. It's kind of laid back, and the interactions with the professors may not be as important as it is once you transfer, because everyone's trying to, what's my next step after I graduate? So definitely those connections is valuable. So my next question is, how was your experience in building or joining community with other veteran students? I know y'all mentioned the VRC. I used to hang out there too.
I was like, we're sporting it right here, you know. Because I don't know, for myself, that was just definitely something that I jumped into as soon as I got on ground, right? I learned at my community college what the VRC is, what the Veteran Resource Center is. And so when I got to UCLA, or when I started researching UCLA, I searched Veteran Resource Center. But I also searched the transfer center, because that was the first exposure, right? They're the ones that first kind of reach out to you when you get that acceptance letter and everything. And fortunately, on UCLA campus, the physical location for the transfer center, that space is shared with the Veteran Resource Center. So it was literally a, hey, I'm a transfer, you know, what do? They welcome you, they give you ice cream, they make you feel at home. And then they're like, and by the way, right next door is the Veteran Resource Center. And, you know, we met Dr. Ives and we met the cohort that was there before us. And they just kind of really, for myself, they really just brought me in. And I felt like this was a place where I had to, you know, be involved.
Yeah, so similarly, well, not similarly, like quite different, because I showed up and, you know, I was kind of solo. I had one friend from San Diego City Community College who also got into UCLA at the same time as me. And we connected because we were both in the Navy at the same time, didn't know each other until we met at community college. So my first quarter here, I didn't even know the VRC. I was just hanging out with the homie, and, you know, we took a couple classes together. And then after some time going to my second quarter towards the end, he was like, yo, I always go to this office and, you know, I study in there, and they have computers, they have a printer, they have food for us all day. And I was like, okay, you know, I don't have anything to do in between class. I find a bench somewhere outside. It's hot outside half the time. So I found the VRC, and then I started going there all the time, met Dr. Ives, met the cohort, and like really was like a big brother, big sister situation where they just like showed me the ropes. And then, I mean, after that, it was history, as they say. You know, I just started working there.
And for me, so because of, like I've said already, complicated, you know, experience with the military and my identity as a veteran, I was extremely hesitant to get involved at all. I didn't at my community college. I was not interested at UCLA at all. But I had to go in to kind of learn more about my education benefits, voc rehab, all of that. I applied right before I started UCLA because I didn't want to have to pay, for it. And then for classes, I was like, God, you know, I don't have a printer. I need a print. They had free printing. So I would go in solely to print. I would go in, print, and leave. But over time, slowly, those that worked there and other veterans would be like, you know, start a little conversation, and then it would grow a little bit. And eventually I would go in there just to hang out, just to have some snacks, just to catch up. And then we would go to tailgates, and, you know, it was slow, but it was extremely beneficial for me in becoming more comfortable with that sort of veteran identity. And it was really the community that helped me, you know, decide on a new major and not completely panic and freak out when I got 2 C's on my first quarter there and my GPA was like 2.0. So yeah, it's, you know, it wasn't initially my goal, but I'm really glad that it turned out that way.
Thank you for sharing. I definitely have that, you know, going in there, you know, mingling a little bit. For me, it was always the lingo, like hearing the lingo, the military lingo again is like, what? Oh, I can join in this conversation and not feel, you know, awkward, not knowing what to say next. So it's definitely, you know, some interesting times going into the VRC, and you're talking about, you know, just military stuff. So this next question, a disclaimer, you know, trigger warning. If you do not feel comfortable, you do not have to share. You know, it's up to you. So during the pandemic, many of us faced additional challenges or existing conditions were exacerbated, such as anxiety, imposter syndrome, isolation, and depression, as family, friends, or even ourselves might have gotten sick, reduced, or lost employment, and may have basic needs insecurities. If you feel comfortable sharing one of these experiences that you feel was at an intersection of your military connected experience and any of your other identities, please share. It doesn't have to be a negative experience also. And I'll put this in the chat.
I think, you know, something that came as a surprise, really, as a benefit to COVID is, you know, we kept the office open. It wasn't in person, but we had our VRC office. It was like this. We had our VRC chat, and, you know, in the office, you know, you would talk and you would mingle and whatever, you would socialize, but you could do other stuff too. Like you could, like, you know, eat and whatever. You didn't have to really pay attention. You could just study or whatever. But when we had the office open online, like, it was like this, like, cameras on, we're in each other's faces. So it's like, we talked a lot. You know, half the time we'd be in there with just us, waiting for someone to come in with questions, come in, talk about their benefits, where we were there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, waiting for someone to come in. But when they weren't there, it was just us in there, and we were like talking, you know, hanging out, really. So it was like it was a good time, you know, being at home alone, and you had someone to socialize with at all the time. So, like, it wasn't 24/7. We were all there at the same time, but there was usually 2 to 3 of us, 4 of us in there at a time. And I mean, exactly, we'd play video games together, you know, sitting at the house, you know, but it was a good way to socialize. So even if, I mean, I'm not sure what the moving forward, if we're going to be back in the office or not. I think that we are going to end up going back into the office coming next term. I'm not sure. That's up in the air. Dr. Ives might know. But if it's not, I know the office is going to be open online. And if you guys get bored, you need someone to talk to, there's someone always going to be, you know, holding down the VRC office. So, yeah.
There were also a lot of resources that became available through those times. And we did have the office open all the time, but we were also doing outreach and things like that. So we were really trying to maintain the community, even though we couldn't all see each other. And those that we did call and contact and that were willing to answer their phone, you know, they really appreciated just, you know, someone checking in and things like that. So it was really an impactful part, outreach for those veterans that, you know, maybe don't have family with them at the time or things like that. It was good to just check in, make sure everyone's doing okay. And if they needed resources, direct them to what was available. Yeah.
I know the pandemic and the shutdown was difficult for myself. I'm a very extroverted person. My personality is to go out and like seek engagement and stuff like that. And you know, when the shutdown happened, all of the emotions kind of set in. The isolation, the loneliness, the fear of the unknown, and all because, you know, I was now required to stay in and, you know, stay indoors. And of course, we understand the purpose and the safety of it and everything. But I know originally seeking out the VRC and seeking out that community, you know, was to feel like I had a place where I belonged. And luckily, you know, in my last year, I did get picked up as a staff member and establishing the virtual VRC, and that gave us purpose. You know, that definitely gave me purpose to, you know, maintain a schedule, maintain that rhythm, right? Waking up in the morning, logging on for work, just being prepared for anybody to come through. That gave even the monotony, gave like routine in the monotony. And because of it, we got to explore a lot of different kind of creative ventures of stuff. So we did pick up like the online gaming. We tried to create like a online gaming league. We did the Twitch streaming. For a period, we did Transfer Tuesdays, Animal Crossings online, you know, and just had like built creative ways to stay engaged with people on campus. And you know, a lot of that wouldn't have happened, or you know, you wouldn't be able to like flex that creativity, that flexibility, you know, without these situations happening. And in the end, you know, we learned a lot of things. I learned that I really don't like being locked indoors, and video games still frustrate me. But you know, it's fun to have those people to go through it with, you know, and that really came out of the pandemic.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Zoom has changed the game, as we see. You know, VRC, we got virtual VRC. My question is, will that stick around once we're in person? Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. My next question is, what is the most fun extracurricular activity you have participated in or you're a part of still? Sounds like this Animal Crossing. That might be it. You know, y'all growing their little farms and trading pigs for horses. That's it right there.
Extracurricular. We want to go. So I think in my last like 2 years at UCLA before everything shut down, I ended up taking lead on the non-traditional student network. And for that, it was kind of more like a grassroots kind of thing of, it's not what you know, but who you know. So it became more of an opportunity to socialize off campus with, you know, older people our age. So going to Rocco's or going to Barney's. And the big thing that came out of that was karaoke. No, not drinking. Was the karaoke. And above me, hang on, let's see if we can see them, are the two speakers that started it. They go, Sony explodes there. We started off with 2 wireless speakers and a microphone, and it grew to now in storage I have a 5-speaker system, 4 wireless microphone system that we just cart around to different events, and we do karaoke. That was one of the biggest things that ended up coming out of this experience for me, was being the KJ for the transfer center, and for the non-traditional student network, which included, you know, a lot of people from the VRC.
Okay, so I have a couple extracurriculars that I really enjoyed. First and foremost, the tailgates. I only went to a couple of them, but they were so much fun, ridiculous amounts of fun. But one of the other things we did, so this isn't like the virtual one, but this is also in person. But we used to do this gardening thing at the VA, because the VA is right across the street from UCLA. So we had like a plot of land there, and we would do gardening, and it would be outreach to veterans in the area, not just students. And then I remember they called it Garden and Grill. And then one specific time we were going to the baseball game afterwards. And this older gentleman, he was there for the gardening, and then he stayed after as well, but he was a veteran, really accomplished in life. It was amazing to hear his story and just talk with him about life. And that was by far one of my favorite, I guess, I'm thinking outdoor experience, excursion, because just being able to connect with the veteran community on a different level, it was definitely one of my favorites, and he was really nice. So
I don't really have any for this one. I didn't do much extracurriculars. You know, I'm a straight A student, so I did a lot of schoolwork, or I'd play video games at the crib. You know, and that's what, you know, I played with Abe, I played with Aubrey. We'd play video games together. So I mean, that's my extracurricular. I still play with some people who still play. I know Aubrey and Abe, they don't play the game that I play anymore. So Yeah,
Which game is it?
Warzone, Call of Duty, battle royale games. I'm with that. Yeah, and we did play a lot of Switch. I have my Switch right here too. But
And well, it seems like you built a gaming community, so that's an accomplishment. That's
I
a
guess that's something. Yeah.
extracurricular activity. All right. We got inspirational moments. We got a DJ in the building, and y'all learn some skills. Make sure y'all put this on y'all resume. So the next question is, what do you do to maintain life balance / distress? Yeah, I think, yeah. What do you do to maintain life balance, and what do you do to de-stress?
Well, right now I'm in the opposite. I got too much life happening. I need some more work in my life because we just graduated. What was it, June 16th? It was, and I'm bored. I'm bored right now. I've been playing too many video games. I'm moving. You can see I've been packing. All I do is just nothing. So, but this is more about when we're in school, because that's where you guys are going to be going. My thing was definitely carving out time for myself. And for myself, it was video games. That's how I chill. I don't no distraction. I'm not thinking about the tests, the papers, and all that stuff. I came to the house and, played video games, got on with whoever wanted to play from work, friends from back home. I'm from Michigan originally. So, that's how I stay connected with a lot of my friends from when I was younger. So definitely just played video games and, maybe go get some food at a nice restaurant.
So I was involved on the softball team, the club softball team. So a good way for me to kind of de-stress was to go to practice and do the tournaments. And it was, well, I wouldn't say it's the only exercise that I did, because walking around campus is its own trip, but it was definitely helpful in maintaining some form of balance instead of just being in the books all the time. And also a social life. So going to Barney's and Rocco's, I was definitely there frequently because they also have karaoke. So that was definitely very helpful. And I also live close, or UCLA is relatively close to home. So I would go home and visit, just to kind of recenter if things got a little too hectic. But yeah. And the veteran community. They were mostly the social part.
I know for myself, I had to separate school from home life because this journey is 6 years of work, school, being away from home because of the commute and everything. And I have a wife at home, and there was an adjustment period from when you go, you start going to school, you got homework, everything gets busy, and you kind of have to establish with, the partner that, school is busy, but it is temporary. And I know that once the quarters ended, that brief period in the winter or that brief period in the summer, dedicate that time to doing something outside of school. We took trips over the winter, even if it was just a 3-day trip. It was something that really took us out of the environment and that we could focus on each other. Over the summers and stuff like that, if you have those opportunities, really dedicate those. They're going to be brief, they're going to go by fast, but it's that time to reset. And then another thing was student organizations. I told myself that when I got to UCLA that I wouldn't be a part of any student organizations. I said I signed my name on a document once and I ended up in Iraq. So I wasn't going to do it again, kind of thing. And I really didn't want to participate in student orgs on campus. And once getting on campus and, finding different environments that I, really wanted to branch into, I got a minor in public health while I was here and started learning about other things that I wanted to join all these, the student organizations. But I set a limit to myself that once that student organization felt like work and wasn't fun, then it would be, time to kind of reconsider what is my relationship with that student organization. And there was a situation where I had to, back down from one because you're there as a student, you're there to learn, you're there to like gain all these experiences, the college experience. And it shouldn't feel like a burden going through it. And it, I had to learn my own boundary and be able to say no to these organizations and then just continue on. And that was one of those, like, the limit settings and the boundaries and just the segregation that I had to really enforce those in myself, because I could get carried away really quickly. Yeah.
Thank you for that. We have a late addition to the panel. Zishan, are you in the building?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I'm doing some extra curricular stuff, but yes, I am.
All right. Yeah, so can you give us a brief, let me go, the first question. Can you tell us a little bit, can you introduce yourself, your name, where you transferred from, your major and your career goals?
Yeah, so my name is Ishan Parvez. I'm from Rhode Island originally, East Coast, small state. I'm a PhD candidate now at UCLA in materials chemistry. I'm in my last year of my degree program, and I came over from Rhode Island. Prior to that, I was at Penn State doing my bachelor's in chemical engineering. My career goals are to get into more of the government contract work and tech development work for government entities and so forth. So kind of like more on the business side of things, utilizing the PhD as kind of a leverage point for getting into tech and stuff.
All right, that's amazing. We have it all. We have nurses, we have a future law student, future, doctor. We have it all in here. You see this? This is beautiful. This is a room full of, so much intelligence. I don't know what else to say. Thank y'all, man. Y'all doing it big. So, well, I'm gonna just highlight you then. Zishan, that's how you pronounce it, right? Okay, yes. Cool. Since you weren't able, the last question that we just asked, what do you do to maintain life balance, and how do you de-stress?
What do I do to maintain life balance? That is kind of difficult. I try to align work and life balance and try to have them kind of overlap each other. So I technically work 7 days a week, but 3 days a week, my part of work is skydiving, but I'm an instructor for wing student, and I get paid by the drop zone. I get sponsored by the drop zone. So even though it's work, it's training, and it's also kind of therapeutic as well. So kind of balancing that out and kind of having it as like a work and play type of situation is what kind of keeps me quite balanced. Yeah.
Thank y'all for that. I'm gonna throw in this bonus question because I'm interested, in y'all thoughts. At what point in your military career or prior to your military career did you see that education was going to be your future, and no longer, spend the additional years in the military?
Mine was when my military plan didn't go the way I anticipated. So I had anticipated doing my 20 years and retiring, and then I did not do that. I was told to leave early. So I had to reevaluate my life plans and go from there. And education was the next, let's figure out what you're going to do. And it actually worked out pretty well for me. So, yeah.
I just remember, being in the Navy, I can assume it's across branches, but you would see people who have been in for a while that are pushing, 20 years, 15 to 20 years, and they just didn't seem happy. Like, I just felt like I was seeing these people who were, not much older than me growing gray hair already. And I was just like, you guys are stressed beyond belief. Like, you guys don't like this. Like, you guys yell all the time. It just wasn't, I didn't want that for myself. And then I met my partner, who she was in law school at the time. And she kind of introduced me into education and was like, it's definitely possible for you to do this. And I took a couple classes using, was it TA tuition assistance while I was active duty. And I did really well in class. And I was like, you know what? I did terrible in high school, like a 2.3, 2.7 when I graduated high school. So I just took 3 college classes, got all A's. And I was like, that was actually pretty fun. I learned some stuff and I could do this. And I know I got the GI Bill. So I decided to get out and, you know, go full time into education.
Yeah. I know for me, so my last assignment was in Germany, and I was assigned with, he was my E6, and he was getting, you know, ready for retirement and getting primed up and everything. And I just remember him and everything that he was going to retire with, like education wise or licenses wise, was, you know, with him with 20 years of service was equal to what I had at that moment with me with 6 years of service. The certifications that we earn in the military, the schools that we can go to, unfortunately don't translate the way that they're advertised when we, you know, when we sign up for them. And when I got out of the military, coming home, my immediate reaction was, I need to start working. You know, and I'm thinking, I have 6 years of medical experience. I'm certified through the military. I can do everything that they're asking for on this job description. And so I applied, and I applied over and over and over again. And the response was, you don't have a certificate, you don't have a degree from a school in California. For a position that doesn't require certification, right? There is no board for us for this. And because I didn't go to a school in California, all my prerequisites didn't matter. And up to the final suggestion was, oh, go pay $3,000 for this school to take their exam. And then that way, you know, that exam, when you graduate or you pass that exam, you can come back and try to apply again. I was like, why am I going to go pay a private school for a certificate when I could just go to the community college, get my degree, and get paid more, you know, get a better position, get a license, right? But seeing that, you know, he was Staff Sergeant Concepcion, seeing him when he was retiring, and he was retiring at the same level that I was with 6 years of experience, really showed me that I needed to do something more to get my licenses, to get those certifications that wouldn't be provided in the military.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing.
Awesome. So mine, I think, was I wanted to do a technical degree, and I was a part of MARSOC, the Marine Special Operations Command, as a critical skills operator, or now known as the Raiders. And basically, it was very time consuming. I mean, there was quite a few politics involved as well, as I was standing up in relation to special forces and stuff. So I kind of saw this as an opportunity to I could spend 4 more years in the actual service, or I could, which would get me diminishing returns on my investment because I'd have the same GI Bill and so forth for that, or I could get out early and pursue my degree. I couldn't pursue it while I was in the service because of the time commitments for special operations, but also the type of degree, chemical engineering, it's not doable. Yeah, very, very difficult. So yeah, that was kind of the decision-making process that I had. And I was like, hey, I'm going to get out early before their 5-year requirements or their cycle for having to re-enlist to actually join MARSOC came up. So I guess I got out early, and I've been using the GI Bill, voc rehab, and so forth ever since. And I think I made the right move. Yeah.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I do, appreciate y'all sharing y'all experience and, the steps that y'all taken to get here, where you're at today. To wrap up, this session, thank y'all again. It's been great listening to everyone and, their advice, their suggestions, their experience, some of their challenges. Veteran community, we're, somewhat unique. I love being around this type of environment, learning, being inspired. A lot of y'all are doing great, amazing things, and keep it up, because we're one step closer, every day. So thank y'all again. Can we give a virtual hand clap to the panelists? They've done an amazing job today, and thank y'all again. And as I say, good luck to your future endeavors. I've heard that a gazillion times. So good luck.
So there was so much brilliance in this session that I just had to put my sunglasses on. Sorry, just too many bright minds right here. That's pretty awesome. That was amazing. I mean, I feel like I should go back to school just to go through your experiences. This was amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing those valuable experiences and strategies and all of that. I mean, I would listen to this whole thing like for hours. So thank you. And thank you, Lionel, for your thoughtfulness in the questions and for facilitating as well. So thank you as well. All right, we're going to share screen. Okay. I think, Bobby, you were going to talk a little bit about just what's going to happen after we're done with the main part of it. For anyone who wants to stay just to do more of like just a peer-to-peer. All the full-time staff will leave, and we leave you all to your own devices so you can play games as karaoke or whatever else you're going to do afterwards. So Bobby,
Yeah,
can you just
so
briefly talk about that?
yeah, so we're gonna do as Santi said, the peer-led circle talks is a space for y'all to connect, for y'all to really have a good time, get to know each other, make friends. I know it's virtual, but I feel like y'all are really gonna make connections, make lifelong friends, and hopefully, as people have been saying, when things open back up again, we'll be able to meet in person. But during this peer-led circle talks, we're going to have, UCLA alumni. We're going to have those who are attending also in the space, and we're going to be asking questions, getting to know each other. It's a super fun time, so I hope y'all are ready. And it's going to be, again, like I said, a great time. I think every time I do this is literally my favorite part of the webinar. I know it's like at the end, but I just love it, just sharing space with y'all. So we're gonna do that pretty soon. And then Santi, if you could share that, I don't know if you're gonna put up the group me as well. And yeah, so so as you can see, let's stay connected through group me. Go ahead and click on that QR code, scan it with your phone if you can. If not, if you can't get it through your phone, hit us up, maybe in the chat, and we'll see another way how we can get y'all into it. But the reason I feel why we use GroupMe is super cool. Y'all can stay connected. It works on like almost every device. And we are always posting updates, especially with the other webinars as well that we've done. And again, it's a safe space for y'all to communicate, for y'all to stay connected throughout the years. And yeah, go ahead and join if y'all can. And
Thank you,
then,
Bobby.
oh, okay, yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna pass it on to I was like, I'm gonna have to get this one too.
Thanks, Bobby. All right. As you heard from Bobby, there's a group me. It's an effort to build community, connect with each other, post updates, check in with one another. But before we end and close the second session and leave you all to have the peer-led circles, we want to talk to you about our upcoming webinar. So the next webinar is our Power to the Students with Disabilities Transfer Student Experience webinar, which is happening tomorrow, August 10th. So if you would like to attend, the invitation is open. And then we have our next webinars later this week. With August 11th, we have our African American Black webinar, Native American Pacific Islander webinar after that. Then the First Generation webinar, Southeast Asian webinar, non-traditional webinar, undocumented webinar, and our Chicanx Latinx webinar. So scan the QR code, stay up to date with, with our programming that's happening in the next couple of days and weeks. And we hope you join us.
All right, so it is raffle time, y'all. So for those of you who have honors with your presence all the way to the end, we want to first of all say just thank you for being here with us. We know that you have multiple responsibilities, and the fact that you're here and made it all the way to the end is a testament to how committed you are, and we want to reward that. So first of all, I want to make sure that I have all the participants' names up here. We're going to give out 3 prizes. The prizes include UCLA CCCP Transfer Center and Veterans Resources swag. And then I myself will also give out a hat, kind of like the one I'm wearing. So yeah, so we're gonna do 3 prizes. All right.
I hope it's not you, Santi.
All right, here we go.
I've seen you wear that hat multiple times.
That's exactly the one I'm gonna give out. Don't be giving out my secrets. All right, so let's see. We're gonna spin, and you do have to be present in order to claim the prize. Here we go. All right, perfect. All right, that's the first one. Number 2.
That one was so close.
I know, I saw that, right?
Who's gonna get it?
Here we go. One more.
For this one, you get Santi's used hat.
Unless, all right, Isabel. And that's it. Thank you so much. So we do have the emails that you enter when you register, and just so you know, we will be mailing the prices at the end of all the webinars, which means after August 21st, just because we don't want our staff to be going on campus, and just in terms of the social distancing protocols. But yeah, so you will be receiving your prices after August 21st. Thank you, thank you. Then stop. I think that's, yeah, that's really it for us. And again, I do want to thank the whole planning team. And again, we could not have done this without the VRC support. We wanted to make sure that we were, just leveraging the expertise that we have, not reinventing the wheel. And Emily is amazing at all that work that she does for the VRC. There's a lot of detail involved with this. There's a lot of information that is crucial to be delivered at specific times and to be, to be accurate. And there is a reason why UCLA's VRC program is at the top. And Emily, I just want to say thank you for supporting this. And we look forward to continue to work together to ensure that the pipeline from the community colleges to UCLA is as it needs to be. So thank you. And to the rest of the planning committee, I just want to say again, thank you for all the work that you put in. And to the participants, we look forward to working with you. We look forward for you to replace the peer advisors. You will be the ones at the panel soon. So that's what we hope for. So thank you, and we'll ask Emily and anyone else who wants to say anything else. No.
Just thank you, Santi, and the CCCP team. It's just been a great experience and great opportunity, and I hope we can continue it and expand on it for the future. So thank you so much.
Beto?
Yeah, I just want to echo what Emily and you already shared. I want to thank the committee for, contributing ideas and putting this event together, the participants for joining, and also to our guest speakers and panelists. I was messaging Santi throughout the event that it's been such a powerful event, and I've learned so much from our speakers and panelists. So just, thank you for being transparent, for being brave, for your service. And we hope that you got a lot from this event. And like Emily mentioned, we hope to grow and expand the veteran student experience webinar in the years that come. So thank you again, everyone.
And just keep in mind that you are the pioneers for us at CCCP in terms of joining a cohort that's intentionally for this community. So yeah, you're making, for CCCP, you're making history for sure. I'm going to, let's see, I'm gonna make Bobby host. And then I'm going to just say, see you soon.
Bye, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Stay connected. Stay in touch.
All right, y'all. Take care.
What's up, y'all? Hope everybody's doing great. I had a really good time today. I was called on last minute to join on into this webinar, but I really learned a lot, and I just appreciate y'all being vulnerable, sharing space, and being transparent. And I just want to again say thank you for being here, staying to the end. I know y'all got busy schedules, so we're gonna start off with maybe introducing ourselves, and then we're going to go into some questions, into some discussion. This happens to be my favorite part of the whole thing, as I said previously, just because I love talking with people. But I hope y'all enjoy this time right now. So let me go ahead and introduce or have Miguel introduce himself, and then we can go, one by one after that.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all. My name is Miguel. I'm a transfer student from Pasadena City College. This is my first year at UCLA. I'm one of the newly hired peer advisors, and it's just a pleasure to be here with y'all. Thank you.
And then Miguel, you can popcorn somebody if you want.
Okay, I'll go ahead and popcorn to Ruby.
Hi, so my name is Ruby. I'm currently attending West LA and I'm trying to transfer out to UCLA. And I'll pass it on to Sarah.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah. I just graduated in the spring from UCLA, and I am also a newly hired peer advisor for this summer. A popcorn, I think Farouk.
I think you're muted if you're here, Farouk.
It's all good.
I can go.
Okay.
I don't even know what the question was.
Oh, we just introducing ourselves, and then I'm gonna put the questions in the chat.
Oh, got you. Hello, everyone. My name's Lionel Edwards. I just finished my master's just this past May. Currently, I'm working with the Cal Athletics as a graduate tutor. That's what I'm doing right now.
And then I'm Bobby. Just graduated from UCLA, so I'm an alum now. Super excited again to be here, and currently pursuing journalism. I'm thinking about going back to school for journalism, maybe USC or somewhere else. And then I'm gonna go ahead and drop the first question in the chat, and then we could all kind of like just go through that. So the first question, I'm gonna go ahead and read it, but I'm gonna also put it in the chat, so that way we can refer to it if we need it. But what was a highlight for you today during the webinar? That's part of the first question. And then what more do you want to know about? Like, what more do you want to know about? So whoever wants to go ahead and go in first and answer that question.
I can go ahead. The highlight for me today, it was just, seeing this happen, because when I was a peer mentor, I was asking like, hey, can we do something for like the veteran population? It was like, oh, right now, we may can work on it in the future. So to see this happen 4 years later is great. For me, what more do I want to know about this? I don't know do you mean like population or just?
Yeah, I think it's in general. Like, what more do you want to know about? Like, yeah, like maybe the program that we had today for CCP. You could touch. It's kind of like broad. I think that part of the question, but you can touch on anything that you think would be valuable.
For me, I would want to know like what's it gonna look like after this, because I've never been a part of like the creation of a like focus group. You know how we have like the STEM population, the Latinx population for CCCP. So I'm not sure like what's the next step after this like panel. Like what is CCC gonna do to kind of get the ball rolling and make this cemented portion of the recruitment process and assistant with transfer applications.
For sure. Thank you. I appreciate that answer. That's true. I'm looking to see what happens after this pandemic too. So with everything, hopefully we do. I know that you mentioned during the webinar something about what. Hopefully we can keep some of these online things going on too. And I think that's a good idea. Like, why not continue to have webinars and have more access? So, but and oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, you could popcorn somebody if you want to popcorn somebody.
All right, I'll popcorn Ruby.
Alrighty, so I'm not a veteran myself, but I decided to attend this webinar just because I just found like the topic like very interesting. I guess the highlight of today was just the stories and like along with the challenges of, what the graduates been experiencing all along. And I guess what I want to know more about is just like the whole like journey until like me transferring out to UCLA. I am majoring in nursing, so I guess I just want to know like more information about it. And yeah, that's it. And I'll pass it on to Miguel.
Thank you, Ruby. I'm not a veteran myself, but as well, it's just being here, it's like, how can I show support, solidarity and stand in solidarity with all, the veterans that are here, and the highlight of the day was just to see how much community, how much unity there is amongst this, population. And, just, it's like they say, actions speak louder than words, and by saying the camaraderie right here, it speaks volumes, and I think that's a very, important piece of pushing this thing forward, and again, I commend you all, my salute, my respect, to everyone that has served, and yeah, let me see who I can poke on it to. Sarah, did you already go?
No, I haven't gone. I think for me, a highlight would probably be the yes, like the experience of like the paddleists and whatnot, but also like just the sense of community they created at their center. I think when you're at UCLA, you kind of find your own little niche, which is obviously different for everyone. But like for example, like Aubrey, I think she was talking about how like she would like it was difficult for her to first enter the center, so she would just go and print out paper, and then slowly like they started talking to her, and that's like how she felt more accepted, or at least she felt more welcome to the center. So and then like even how they even navigated the pandemic, and they just like opened up like a whole Zoom from like 9 to 5. And I think that's something that a lot of centers probably didn't offer during the pandemic. So it was just like that was like pretty much what I enjoyed seeing. What more do you want to know about? I'm not sure if they probably spoke about outreach because I was coming in and out, but maybe like if they outreach more to like community colleges, because I know at community college we have like a lot of veterans, so it would just be interesting to see like that outreach on campus. Popcorn. I think everyone went already.
Yeah. I think I'll be the last one. So my highlight was the mental health aspect and portion. I think was super important. I really like that because it goes into like in into not just veterans but just regular day folk too. And I think it's also super important when you think of people who have served, for those people who have like given their lives, for this country and done so much for us too. So just I think that was like it just really touched my heart. That was super cool. But I would like to know more about those services and how that could be continue to be provided, not just on campuses but off of campus. Like how can we provide those mental health services for everyone, especially those veterans, especially focusing on them, but also maybe having some side services for people, because I think if you even think about the you know, communities of color, have a high rate of PTSD because of over policing and other things like that. And then when you combine that with a person who's has intersectionalities, who's also a veteran, who's from a certain area, I think that only multiplies the level of need. So I really appreciated that portion of the webinar. So then I'm gonna go ahead and drop the third question. Just give me 1 second, my bad. But I'm gonna go ahead and read it off right now, and I'm gonna put it in there. But basically, it's what's one of your biggest hurdles to transferring right now if you haven't already transferred? So maybe this is a question for those who are currently trying to transfer. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the chat, and then y'all could feel free to answer that. And if y'all have questions for us too, who have already transferred or who have gone even further to get a master's or PhD or whatever the case is, y'all can also ask questions. Feel free. So has Sarah and Ruby, have y'all transferred yet?
I haven't. So I feel like the biggest hurdles for me when it comes to transferring. So I've been attending West LA for like almost 5 years already. And I feel like it has taken me a long time only because I'm a mother myself and I work full time. So I can't be like full time in school. And I feel like that's kind of like the main reason that it has taken me so long. But I'm actually like looking forward to like transferring out soon and hopefully in the next 2 years I can transfer out. But yeah, I think that's my main reason why.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And if you have any questions on transferring, again, you know, don't feel shy. And I understand that there's like many hurdles to transferring, but I appreciate that response. I hear you. Okay, we got hold on, never mind. I thought we had one more person in that got into this group. Actually, yeah, we do. What's up, T Chavez? Can you hear me? And Farouk, I don't know if I'm saying your name wrong. If we are, let us know. I don't know if you're still there. And then T Chavez, if you could go ahead and introduce yourself real quick. We recently introduced ourselves, and that would be great if you did too. And then, Sarah, do you feel like answering this question? If you don't, we could skip to the next one.
I already transferred, but a hurdle that I had while transferring was really finding kind of who would help me to like transfer. And I think Triple CP was kind of like that avenue that helped me. Because for me, like it's always been difficult for me to ask help. But I found that acting lost actually helps you a lot more. Like if you act like super